The sun was low in the sky on the red planet of Darsa 4. Dust blew over the dry ground as the wind whispered through empty canyons. Jiho, a young human engineer from Earth, stood on a cliff, looking down at something strange. He had come to Darsa 4 as part of a team building a new spaceport. But today he had driven far from the base on his rover, wanting some quiet after a long week of work. That's when he saw it, a crash site. A small ship, clearly not human-made, had fallen in the desert. Smoke still rose from the wreckage. Curious and concerned, Jiho grabbed his scanner and walked down the rocky slope. His boots crunched on the ground as he made his way closer. The ship was dark purple, with smooth curves and strange glowing symbols. It didn't look like anything from Earth or even the nearby colonies. Something, or someone, had flown this. As he got closer, he heard something. A soft sound. A voice? Jiho stopped. "Hello?" he called out. There was no answer, but then he heard it again, faint and shaky. A whisper. He followed it around the side of the ship and found a small broken hatch. Carefully he pulled it open and crawled inside. The inside of the ship was dark and filled with smoke. Sparks flickered from damaged panels. Jiho turned on his wrist light and looked around. That's when he saw her. She was slumped against the wall, her skin a pale lavender color, her eyes closed. She had strange markings on her face and arms, not painted, natural. Her hair was silver blue and shimmered faintly in the light. Jiho's breath caught in his throat. He had never seen an alien up close before. He had heard stories, seen footage, but this was real. And she was injured. He moved slowly, not wanting to scare her if she woke up. "Hey, can you hear me?" he said gently. Her eyes fluttered open. Bright violet eyes stared at him wide with confusion and fear. She tried to speak, but her voice was weak. Her lips moved, but Jiho didn't understand the words. "It's okay," he said, raising his hands to show he meant no harm. "I'm here to help." She winced as she tried to move. Jiho quickly pulled out a small med pack from his belt. He didn't know if human medicine would work on her, but he had to try something. He gently sprayed a healing foam on the cuts on her arm. She flinched but didn't resist. Jiho took a deep breath. "I need to get you out of here." He glanced at the damaged walls of the ship. It looked unstable. Another crash or explosion could happen any second. Gently, he helped the alien girl. "Sit up." She was weak but didn't stop him. It took a while, but Jiho managed to carry her out of the ship and lay her gently in the back of his rover. She looked at him with tired, questioning eyes. "My name is Jiho," he said, pointing to himself. "Jiho?" She stared at him for a moment, then spoke softly. "Aya." "Aya," Jiho repeated, smiling. "Nice to meet you, even like this." Aya tried to smile, but it turned into a small cough. Jiho started the rover and began driving back toward the human base. The ride was long and quiet. Jiho kept checking the scanner for her vitals. Her breathing was shallow but steady. He didn't know what species she was or what kind of care she needed, but he would figure it out. As they drove, he looked at her again. She didn't seem like a threat. She looked scared and tired, not dangerous. And there was something in her eyes, curiosity maybe, or something softer. Jiho didn't know, but it made him want to protect her. Back at the base, Jiho hid the rover behind a supply shed. He couldn't take her to the main med bay. The humans here were strict about alien contact. Official orders said to report anything non-human to the UHF, United Human Forces. But Jiho didn't trust them. He had heard stories, how they treated alien beings more like science projects than people. He couldn't do that to Aya. Instead, he brought her to his room in the worker barracks. It was small but clean. He laid her down on his bed and covered her with a blanket. She was still shivering even though her skin didn't feel cold. Jiho sat beside her and spoke softly. "You're safe now. I won't let anyone hurt you." Aya looked at him, her eyes slowly blinking. Then she reached out, touching his hand gently. Her fingers were warm and her touch was light. For a moment they just looked at each other. No words, no understanding of language. But something passed between them. something human, and something more. Later that night, Jiho tried to rest, but he couldn't sleep. He sat on the floor thinking about what had just happened, how strange it all was. An alien girl falling from the sky, him finding her, and now she was in his room, sleeping under his blanket. He wondered who she was, where she had come from, why her ship had crashed, and he wondered, what would happen next? Suddenly a soft voice broke the silence. Jiho? He turned. Aya was awake, sitting up slightly. Her voice was quiet but clearer than before. Yes, he said, moving to her side. She looked at him for a long time. Then slowly, she spoke again. You saved me? Jiho smiled, a bit shy. I guess I did. Aya touched her chest, then pointed at him. Life debt. Jiho blinked. What? She said it again. Life debt. I owe you. Jiho laughed softly. You don't owe me anything. I couldn't just leave you there. Aya tilted her head. Human heart. Kind. Jiho felt something warm in his chest. He wasn't sure if it was pride or just relief that she was okay. Aya looked at him, serious now. You... different. Not like others. Jiho wasn't sure what she meant, but he nodded. Maybe. Aya leaned back, her eyes closing again. Sleep now, Jiho, tomorrow we talk. Jiho sat beside her, watching her breathe. He didn't know what tomorrow would bring. Trouble maybe, danger, or maybe something else. But he knew one thing. This was just the beginning. The next morning, the first light of Darsa IV's twin sun slipped through the small window of Jiho's room. The soft orange and pink glow made everything look calm, but Jiho's mind was full of questions. He looked over at Aya. She was awake, sitting up on the bed, her silver blue hair falling around her face. Her violet eyes watched him carefully. Good morning, Jiho said, trying to sound cheerful. Aya gave a small nod. She still looked weak, but stronger than the night before. Jiho smiled. You should rest more, but I know you want to talk. Aya nodded again, then spoke slowly in broken English. Need tell? Jiho nodded. I want to know everything. Who you are. Why you crashed here. Aya looked out the window, thinking. Then she said, Name. Aya. From planet. She hesitated. Not safe, no say. Jiho waited patiently. You can tell me when you're ready. Aya looked back at him. Ship. Broken. Escape. From war. War. Jiho's heart tightened. What kind of war? Aya's eyes grew dark. Many planets. Fighting. My people hunted. Jiho felt a cold chill. He had heard stories of wars in the galaxy. He had never expected to meet someone who had escaped from one. Your people, are they like you? He asked carefully. Aya nodded slowly. We look different, but we feel same. Jiho wanted to ask more, but he stopped himself. He didn't want to push her too hard. She had just survived a crash, she needed time. Instead, he said, I'll help you. We'll keep you safe. Aya looked at him, her eyes full of something Jiho couldn't name. Gratitude? Hope? Maybe both. Over. The next days, Jiho learned a lot about Aya, even if she couldn't speak well. He found a small translator device in her ship, broken but still working. With it, they could talk better. Aya explained that her planet was called Lyria. It was far from Earth, a place of blue forests and silver seas. But the war had destroyed much of it. We fought for freedom, she said one day, but lost many, many. Jiho listened, feeling sadness. He thought of Earth's own history and the wars that had shaped it. Aya showed him pictures in her translator, shining cities burning, friends lost, families torn apart. Jiho wanted to comfort her but knew words were not enough. I'm sorry, he said softly. Aya smiled weakly. No fault. War happens. Jiho wanted to ask about her people, if any had survived, if she had family. But every time he tried, Aya grew quiet. There were other things, too. Strange things. One night, Jiho woke to a soft noise. He opened his eyes and saw Aya standing by the window. She was looking out at the stars. "Jiho," she whispered. He sat up. "Yes?" Aya turned to him, her face serious. "Danger. Coming." Jiho frowned. "What kind of danger?" Aya's eyes flashed violet in the dim light. "Hunters. They follow me." Jiho's blood ran cold. "Hunters?" Aya nodded. "Those who want to take me. Capture." Jiho's mind raced. If she was right, then she was not safe here. The UHF might find her. Or worse, whoever hunted her might come to Darsa 4. "We have to hide," Jiho said quickly. Aya looked at him, trust in her eyes. "You... help me." Jiho reached out and took her hand. "I'll protect you. No matter what." The next day, Jiho started planning. He couldn't take Aya to the main base. Too many people. Too many eyes. Instead, he thought about the old mines nearby. The tunnels were long and deep, abandoned for years. Perfect to hide. He packed supplies, food, water, medical kits, and helped Aya into his rover again. The journey to the mines was tense. Aya kept looking around, nervous. "Hunters close?" Jiho asked. Aya nodded. "Maybe." When they arrived, the entrance was dark and cold. Jiho turned on his flashlight and led the way inside. The tunnels were quiet except for their footsteps. The air smelled of earth and metal. Jiho found a small room deep in the mine, safe and hidden. He set up their temporary home there. Aya sat down and looked relieved. "Thank you, Jiho." Jiho smiled. "We'll be safe here. For now." Days passed in the mine. Jiho and Aya settled into a strange kind of routine. Jiho fixed small machines and systems to make the room livable. Aya helped as much as she could. They talked about many things: Earth, Lyria, their hopes and fears. Jiho learned that Aya was not a warrior, but a scout, sent to find help for her people. But her ship was attacked during the mission. Aya's quiet. Courage impressed Jiho. Even after everything, she wanted to save her home. One evening, Jiho found Aya looking at an old photo on her device. It showed a group of Lyrians smiling under a silver tree. "Family?" Jiho asked softly. Aya nodded. "Mother, father, and sister." Jiho wished he could do more to help, but peace didn't last. One afternoon, while Jiho was outside fixing a comm device, he heard a strange sound, like a low hum. Then a light flashed from the mine entrance. He ran back inside. Aya was already alert, standing near the door. "They are here," she said quietly. Jiho grabbed a small weapon from his belt. "We have to be ready." The mine shook slightly. The hum grew louder. Through the darkness, Jiho saw figures approaching, tall and shadowy. They moved fast and silently. Jiho's heart pounded. "Hunters," Aya whispered. The two of them hid deeper in the tunnels. Jiho's mind raced. How had they found them so quickly? Was there a traitor? Aya looked at Jiho, her eyes fierce. "We fight together." Jiho nodded. Together. The first hunter stepped into the small room. Jiho and Aya held their breath. The hunter was tall, with dark armor and glowing red eyes. It raised a weapon that hummed with energy. Jiho moved. First, he fired his small blaster, hitting the hunter's arm. The hunter growled and swung a heavy blade. Aya jumped up, moving faster than Jiho expected. She grabbed the hunter's arm and twisted, using her strength to push him back. Jiho joined the fight, firing again. The hunter stumbled and fell. More hunters came, but Jiho and Aya fought side by side, covering each other. The battle was short, but fierce. Jiho was surprised at Aya's skill, despite her gentle nature. When the last hunter fell, the mine was silent again. Jiho breathed heavily. "Are you okay?" Aya nodded, but her face was pale. "Thank you, Jiho. You saved me again." Jiho smiled tiredly. "We save each other." That night, as they sat in the quiet mine, Jiho realized something important. Aya was not just an alien in need, she was a friend, maybe more, and he was ready to fight for her, whatever it took. The morning light was weak in the deep tunnels of the abandoned mine. Jiho woke to the soft sound of Aya breathing beside him. Her face was calm now, but he knew she was still tired from the fight the night before. He sat up and looked around, their small hiding place. It was simple but safe for now. The walls were rough and the air smelled of earth and metal, but Jiho felt a strange comfort here. This place had become a shelter for both of them. Aya stirred and opened her violet eyes. She smiled faintly when she saw Jiho. "Morning," Jiho said softly. "Morning," Aya replied, her voice clearer today. Jiho handed her some water and food. She ate slowly, still weak but determined. "We can't stay here forever," Jiho said, his voice low. Aya nodded. "Hunters. Find us again. Need plan." Jiho thought hard. He wanted to help her find safety, but the galaxy was big and dangerous. "We need help," Jiho said finally. "There are people in the base who might listen if they understand." Aya looked doubtful. "Humans, not always kind. Some afraid." Jiho nodded. "I know. But maybe some are different." Aya studied him. "You trust humans?" Jiho smiled faintly. "I trust you. Maybe. I trust some humans too." That day, Jiho decided to risk taking Aya to the base. He packed carefully, bringing only what was needed to stay hidden and safe. They left the mine and moved quickly through the desert. The suns were high, making the heat strong. Jiho covered Aya's pale skin with a jacket to protect her. When they reached the base, Jiho felt nervous. People bustled everywhere, workers, soldiers, engineers, everyone was busy. Jiho found his friend Hana, a medic who had helped him before. She was kind and open-minded. "Hana," Jiho whispered, pulling her aside. "I found someone, not human." Hana looked surprised but didn't show fear. "Show me." Jiho led her to a hidden room in the base where Aya waited. Hana gasped softly when she saw Aya. "She's real." Jiho nodded. "She needs help and protection." Hana looked thoughtful. "We can keep her safe, but only if we're careful." Jiho agreed. "No one can know. Not yet." Over the next days, Hana helped Aya heal. She cleaned wounds and gave medicine. Aya learned more English from Hana, who was patient and gentle. Jiho visited often, bringing supplies and stories from outside. Aya and Jiho grew closer. They shared quiet moments, smiles and small touches. One evening, Jiho sat beside Aya. "Why did you come to this part of space?" Aya looked away, then whispered, "To find peace, to find help." Jiho reached for her hand. "I want to help. You find peace." Aya's violet eyes met his. "You, different. You care." Jiho smiled. "Maybe because you saved me too." Aya blushed slightly, then looked down. But peace was fragile. One night, alarms sounded through the base. Soldiers rushed past Jiho's room. Hana burst in, breathless. "They found us! Hunters are here!" Jiho's heart pounded. "How?" "No. Time," Hana said. "We must hide her." Jiho grabbed Aya's hand. "Come with me." They ran through secret tunnels under the base. The sounds of battle echoed above. Jiho led Aya to a hidden shelter deep underground. The walls were thick, safe from attacks. Aya looked scared but trusted Jiho. "We will get through this," Jiho promised. The next hours were tense. Gunfire and explosions shook the base. Outside, soldiers fought unknown enemies. Jiho and Aya stayed, quiet in the shelter. Aya reached out and touched Jiho's cheek. "Thank you for saving me again." Jiho smiled tiredly. "We save each other." Suddenly, the shelter's door hissed open. A soldier entered, weapon raised. Jiho stepped in front of Aya. "Wait, she's with us." The soldier lowered his eye. Weapon. It was Captain Lee, a respected leader. Lee looked at Aya, surprised but calm. "Who is she?" Jiho explained quickly. "She's a refugee from another planet. We must protect her." Lee nodded slowly. "I will help, but we need a plan." Captain Lee gathered trusted officers. They decided to help Aya secretly, hiding her until the danger passed. Jiho felt hope. Maybe not all humans were afraid. Aya looked at Jiho, grateful and tired. That night, Jiho stayed by her side. They talked about dreams and fears. Aya whispered, "I never thought I could trust." Jiho squeezed her hand. "You can trust me." In that quiet moment, something changed between them. A promise of more than friendship. Days turned into weeks. The base was calm again. The hunters were gone, at least for now. Jiho and Aya planned their next step. She wanted to contact her people to ask for help. Jiho nodded. "We'll find a way." Aya smiled softly. "Thank you." Jiho. Jiho smiled back. "For you, anything." They looked at each other, a silent understanding. But danger was never far away. One evening, Jiho found a message hidden in Aya's ship files. It was a warning. Hunters, coming back, stronger. Jiho's blood ran cold. He knew the fight was not over. But with Aya by his side, he was ready for whatever came next. The warning message stayed in Jiho's mind like a shadow. The hunters were coming back stronger and closer than before. He felt a heavy weight on his chest. He looked at Aya, who was quietly working on her damaged ship. "We must be ready," Jiho said one morning. Aya nodded slowly. "Hunters never forget. They want me. For power." Jiho clenched his fists. "We won't let them take you." Aya looked at him with deep trust. Together. Strong. Jiho and Aya told Captain Lee and the small team about the warning. Lee's face was serious. "We need a plan to protect the base and Aya," he said. "And if the hunters attack, we fight back." Jiho agreed. "We cannot hide forever." The team worked quickly. Soldiers prepared weapons. Engineers fixed defenses. Jiho helped where he could, learning fast. Aya stayed close, watching and learning. She wanted to fight, not just hide. Jiho admired her courage. One evening, while they were planning, a scout ran into the base. His face was pale. "They are near," the scout said. "Hunters' ships above the desert." Alarm bells rang through the base. Soldiers rushed to positions. Jiho grabbed his gear and ran to Aya's side. "We have little time," he said. Aya nodded, her face calm but ready. The sky darkened with the shadow of many ships. The hunters arrived in force. They were unlike anything Jiho had seen. Large, powerful vessels with weapons that could destroy whole cities. The base shook as the hunters' attack began. Jiho and the others fired back. Explosions lit the sky and the desert. Aya fought alongside the soldiers. She moved fast, using her skills to disable enemy drones and fighters. Jiho was amazed. She was strong, but kind. She fought not for hate, but for survival and hope. The battle lasted hours. Jiho felt tired but kept fighting. He watched Aya protecting her when she was in danger. At one point, a hunter soldier broke through the defenses and charged at Aya. Jiho rushed to help. Together they fought the attacker. With a final move, Aya disabled him. Jiho smiled, breathless. "You're incredible." Aya smiled back. "You too." Jiho. After the battle, the base was damaged but still standing. The hunters retreated, but Jiho knew they would return. Captain Lee gathered the survivors. "We held them off today," he said. "But this is not over. We must prepare for the next attack." Jiho looked at Aya. She looked tired but determined. "We fight together," she said. Jiho nodded. "Together." That night, Jiho and Aya sat outside the base under the stars. The desert was quiet again. Jiho took Aya's hand. "You saved us all today." Aya shook her head. "No, we saved each other." Jiho smiled. "I never thought I could feel this way. Aya looked at him, her eyes shining. Me too. They sat close, the warmth between them growing stronger. The next days were filled with hard work. The base rebuilt its defenses. Soldiers trained harder. Jiho and Aya trained too. She taught him new fighting techniques. He showed her how to use human weapons. Their bond grew deeper, built on trust and respect. One evening, while resting, Jiho asked, "What will you do when this is all over?" Aya looked thoughtful. "Go home, if safe. But if not, stay." Jiho hoped she would stay. But danger was never far. One morning, a new message arrived from Aya's home planet. It was a call for help. "The war is worse," the message said. "Lyria needs allies." Jiho and Aya read the message together. "We can help," Jiho said. "We will fight for your home." Aya smiled, tears in her eyes. "Thank you, Jiho." The story was no longer just about survival. It was about hope and courage. Jiho and Aya stood together, ready for whatever came next. Because sometimes, even in the darkest times, love and friendship could shine the brightest. The day was quiet but full of hope. The base was ready for what was coming next. Soldiers stood tall, machines hummed with power, and plans were made to help Aya's home planet Lyria. Jiho looked at Aya. She was standing near the command center, her silver-blue hair glowing softly in the light. She looked stronger than before, but her eyes still held a quiet sadness. "We will go together," Jiho said softly. "To help your people." Aya smiled, her violet eyes shining. Together. The plan was simple but dangerous. The humans and the Lyrians would form a small team and travel to Lyria. They would bring supplies, weapons, and hope. Captain Lee trusted Jiho and Aya to lead the mission. It was a big responsibility, but Jiho felt ready. He knew he could not do it alone. Aya was his strength. The day before they left, Jiho and Aya walked outside the base. The desert stretched wide, but the stars were bright above. Jiho took her hand. "Whatever happens, I'm with you." Aya looked at him and smiled. "And I with you." The journey to Lyria was long. The spaceship moved through space, passing stars and planets. Aya showed Jiho images of her home. Beautiful forests, silver seas, and shining cities. But the pictures also showed destruction, burned lands, and broken buildings. Jiho felt a strong desire to help. When they finally reached Lyria, the planet was different from the images. The war had left scars everywhere. The forests were smaller, the seas less bright, but there were still people alive. They welcomed Aya and the team with hope and relief. Jiho and Aya worked together to help the survivors. They brought medicine, food, and weapons. They also helped rebuild. Slowly, the forests grew green again and the cities started to shine. Aya's people were grateful. They looked to Jiho as a friend and protector. One evening, Aya spoke softly. "Thank you, Jiho, for everything," Jiho smiled. "I did what I could, because you matter." Aya looked at him with warmth. "You changed my world." But the war was not over. The hunters were still out there waiting. One day the enemy attacked again. The sky darkened with ships, and the ground shook. Jiho, Aya, and the fighters stood ready. The battle was fierce and hard. But this time the Lyrians and humans fought as one. Jiho saw Aya fight bravely, her strength inspiring everyone. Together they pushed back the hunters, winning the fight. After the battle, the planet was quiet again. People cheered, hope growing, in their hearts. Jiho and Aya stood together looking at the stars. Jiho said, "We saved your home." Aya smiled. "Because of you, and all of us." They held hands, feeling the promise of a new future. Time passed. Lyria healed. The forest grew and the city shined. Jiho and Aya stayed together, their bond stronger every day. They taught each other about their worlds and dreams. Jiho learned about Lyrian culture, and Aya learned about Earth. They laughed, shared stories, and dreamed of peace. One night, under the silver trees of Lyria, Jiho knelt and took Aya's hand. "I want to be with you. Always." Aya's eyes filled with tears of joy. "Yes. Always." They hugged, the stars above shining bright. The story of Jiho and Aya was no longer just about survival. It was about love, courage, and hope. Together, they showed that even in the darkest times, humans and aliens could find friendship and something more. The universe was big and full of danger, but with trust and love, anything was possible.